This will be a LubeMinder hydraulic grease pump bellow interlock overview to provide a high-level understanding of the features of this particular pump. So I'm going to start with the pump itself. On the back end, or the pumping portion of this grease pump, we have our pilot signal ports. You have one on this side and you have one on this side. This is the pump body. This is the adjustment for the pumping piston on the inside of this. This is the Bellows support plate, your cover mounts, your sensor or low sensor mounts, your outlet port, your bypass priming valve, which has 5/8" wrench flats. We have our priming port and our priming outlet port. This is an empty bellows with the interlock and O-ring. And as you can see, our bellows support plate has a cam ring on the inside, and these lobes will interlock into that cam ring with a quarter turn clockwise. This is a grease-filled bellows. The bellows would come with a cap and a seal on there, a foil seal that you do not remove, and I will go over this further in the video. When you do the install, and the cutter blade on the inside of the cam will cut that foil. Then we have our bellows cover assembly that comes with our rubber latches that will latch onto our latch keepers. When you do this assembly, the bellows would be on the inside. You'd slide this cover right down over the top of the bellows itself, and then you would latch the cover on. So what you want to start with is unlatching the rubber latch keepers on both sides to remove the grease pump bellows cover assembly. Once that's removed, you can set that aside. Typically the bellows would be sucked flat at this point in time. There would be about a half a cup of grease to 1 cup of grease left in those bellows. Discard the bellows and the grease according to your state and local laws. Remove the bellows by rotating counterclockwise about 1/4 turn, and you can feel the lobes unlatch themselves in the cam. This will allow the bellows interlock to release from the cam lock itself. Visually inspect to make sure O-rings remain on the bellows, they're not cut or damaged. Visually inspect the pump as well in the interlock cam area, again for debris or foil from the bellows itself. Don't put your hands or fingers down into that interlock area, as there are sharp cutter blades to slit the bellows foil. Take the new bellows out of the cardboard box that it came in. Again, the bellows do come with a foil cover over the top of the inlet of that bellows. When installing a new bellows, don't remove the foil. Just make sure that there are no debris or nothing stuck down in there. Take the bellows, crush it a little bit against your chest to make sure that the grease is right up against that foil. Then take that bellows and stick it right down into the cam plate. When you insert the bellows into the cam interlock, you can feel the little tabs fall into the cam. You will rotate it a 1/4 turn, and you can actually feel it click in. At that point in time, the O-ring is sealed. The grease has sealed in there as well. The cam interlock cutters have cut the foil, and the foil should be in a position where it should not fall out. Then take the cover and put it back down over the top of the bellows and latch the rubber latches back to the keepers. You'll want to grab a 5/8" wrench and loosen the bypass priming valve. Back that out as far as you can. It will not fall out, but what that allows is it opens the priming port to the priming outlet port so that you can prime the pump. Take a grease gun with the appropriate grease, put it onto the priming port, grease or inject grease into the priming port until grease comes out of the priming outlet port. What that has done is it has purged all of the air out of the grease pump itself. Then tighten up the bypass priming valve with a 5/8" wrench. Now you do not need to torque or tighten or over tighten, you just need to snug that down. It's just holding that port tight.